Tired of starting from scratch every time you need to send a newsletter? Want to save time and build beautiful branded email newsletters in ConvertKit? In this video, we're diving into creating killer email templates that will have your audience hitting reply in no time. So grab your laptop and let's build some awesome emails together. If you don't already have a ConvertKit account, I have a link for you below. ConvertKit has a plan that is free for up to 10,000 subscribers that includes one automation and one email sequence. If you already know that you're going to need more than one of each of those, then I would go ahead and just check out the creator plan because you get unlimited access to all of ConvertKit's features. It is an affiliate link, so if you do decide to sign up, my pup Oakley thanks you for the extra treats. So today I want to walk you through really quickly how to create a customized email template in ConvertKit. So we're going to start by going to send and then email templates here, and that's the page that I am currently on. You can see that here. And then these are some templates that I've already made. So we are going to start by creating a new one. So we're going to hit new email template here, and you'll see that ConvertKit has lots of different templates that you can start from. But I want to point out really quickly that the starting point templates are great and they're the most customizable out of the templates inside of ConvertKit, but the classic email templates are the only ones that can be set as a default template. So you want to keep that in mind when you start creating a new template. If you want it to be your default, meaning it's automatically applied to every new email that you create, whether it's in a broadcast or a sequence, you want to make sure that you choose to create a classic template instead of a starting point. Another thing that I want you to keep in mind is if you have a starting point template that you want to use, you need to make sure that you apply it to your email before you start adding any content to your email. If you have written this great email and then decide to apply the starting point template, it will erase everything that you wrote. And it warns you first, but I want to make sure that you're aware of that before we get started, just so that you know that if you try to apply one of these after you've started writing content, it will erase everything that you've written. I really just want to show you how to customize these templates because there are some really great options in here already. One of my favorites is the platform. I use this one a lot. I also really like this one. I used this one as my starting point for the emails I send out about my YouTube videos. I liked that it had like this nice header in there, but was generally a pretty basic email. I also like to use text-only emails because just for the deliverability. Now, all of these emails have been, templates have been tested by ConvertKit and are good for deliverability, but I always just like to send most of my emails in a very just kind of like letter to a friend format. So I like text-only. But let's just start right now with customizing one of the starting point templates. So we'll choose platform, and it's going to open this up just like this. Now, anything that you add in here is going to be a part of your template. So if you add text here, it's going to be a part of your template. Even if it's like a letter to your email list or an email to your email list, it's going to put that. If you put it in here in the template, it's going to add it to every email that you add this template to. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind, that if you put content, whatever you put in here is going to go into the template. So to start changing things out and making it a little more branded, because it obviously has the ConvertKit brand to it, you just kind of start clicking on sections. So you can click this logo image here to replace it. Just click replace to choose a different picture. It's going to bring up the images that are in your account. So in this case, I'll just choose mine, and it's just going to pop it right in there. Simple enough. If you need to edit the size, you can do that right here with this width button, and this will change what size it is. You can also just type if you know what size you want it to be, you can just type it in here. You can also change it to full, but I prefer fixed and to make it a little bit smaller. If you want to link to your template, to your logo, if you want to link this to your website, you can also do that. There. So now whenever you use this template in an email, this will be clickable. People can go to your website from it. The caption is if you wanted to put any text under it. This is a part of every image that you add to your email. So if you want to put a caption here, I personally wouldn't do it for a logo, but maybe if you put an image of a summer vacation or something in your email, then you could definitely put a caption under it saying what was going on. And then of course there's just some visual options here. You can curve the corners of the image if it was square. This one in this case is obviously a transparent background, so you can't see the corners, but if you had corners, if it was a square or a block image, you could change those here. You can add a border around it if you want to do that. There we go. I'm not sure why, but for some reason, even though this is set to black, it doesn't always show up until you change the color, and then you can change it back. But, so if we went back to black, then that's what that looks like there. If you want to do that, and then you can describe this for accessibility purposes, and then here is some advanced settings. If you had this in the content of your email and you wanted to wrap text around it, that you could do that here. And then you can also optimize the image, which I recommend because it will help improve times on your email for it to load for people. All of those settings are the same for any image that you have in your email. Next up, we've got this text box here and a button. And so if you're familiar with ConvertKit at all of this works the same. Again, the thing to keep in mind is that this content will go in every email. So what I would personally do here is if you just want a text box, I would probably just erase all of this. The only thing that I might keep is maybe the header, just so that whenever I go to add another header in my email, like it's already kind of there, but you can also edit those settings inside the email itself. And I'll show you that once we're done with this. I'll show you how to apply this to an email and edit it from there as well. So over here on the right, you'll see that we have this little sidebar that changes as we click on different elements in the email. So at the template level, what you're gonna get here is basically the background color, which is this color, which we can change. If we wanted to change it to different brand colors, obviously this is going to mess up my logo because all of the colors are in there, but you can change that here if you wanted to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and go with white. That is not white, that is black. I'm going to go with white, or we can do the gray, a light gray color. So that's how you change this background overall. And then you can also edit your buttons on a template level, which means anywhere that you add buttons, they're going to be this color. I like to have my buttons purple, so I will change that to purple. And then if we add a button, now the button is purple. So then when you're writing your email, if you add a new button, then that button will also be purple. You won't have to change it every time. So those are the changes that you can make at a template level. Next up, we have sections. So this is going to be a section. I've clicked in the heading, so it jumped over to heading, but this is going to be the section. So everything in this blue box right here is a section. So here you can see we've got a background color of white. I could change that to, again, purple, just changing it to my brand colors. So it's going to change that section out. So as you add other sections to your email, you can change the background colors. The same thing goes with the image. This would be, just pick an image. It's going to put it in the background like this. If you choose to hide in public posts, that simply means on your ConvertKit Creator Network site, if you have this hidden and you share this email publicly, then this section would be hidden and it would not show up on the Creator Network. So margins change the spacing around the outside of the box. So if you'll watch, when I click large, the gap between the footer and the white box is going to get bigger, as well as up here is going to get bigger. So it changes that spacing. So if you want more space between elements, you'll change the margins. And then the padding is going to be the spacing inside the box. So if I click, it's set to large now. If I click none, you'll see that the spacing on the inside of the box gets a lot smaller. And then the width is going to change the width of the whole box itself to either be the full width of the email or whatever you have it set at in the middle. So 640 is standard. That's what it's going to be when you start a new email, but you can adjust that by dragging this, and you can see how it goes all the way to the edge, or you can bring it back to be really narrow. So you can really play with the look of your emails with this option. And then again, we're still working with this one section. So here you can also do a border color if you wanted to do that. And then there you go. It's going to put a nice border. You can also change the corner size, the corners to be square or rounded. And then of course custom, if you want it to be more rounded than this, you can do custom corners here. And then we have mobile, which this just changes the way that the email will look on mobile. Don't typically have to change this too much, but if you're concerned about padding, you can turn this on. And then if you wanted to add any custom CSS to this to change something that's not a setting right here inside of ConvertKit, you can do this down here in advanced. Again, that's not something that I have ever really had to mess with when it comes to the emails, but it's a nice option to have it there if you need it. So the section headings are going to be for everything that's inside of this section. Now to change what's inside of the section, you come over here and it'll, whatever section you click on, it will show up over here. So this is heading 2. If you change the color or anything of heading 2, then it's going to show up again. So you want to change the font size. When you click on the font, this changes to text here, and this is where you can change the font. You can choose whatever kind of font that's in here that you want to choose. Not a huge selection, but there's some good options in there. You can change if you want it to be, like, depending on the font, there's sometimes some extra options over here as far as the thickness. And then this is where you can also change the size of the font as well, and the color. And then down here under advanced, this is where you're going to choose to change the link color. I like to use bright colors for my links, so I usually go with this bright blue. And then you can also adjust the line height and the letter spacing if that's something that you want to do. I tend to keep these the way they are because I want the emails to just be very readable and concise looking, so I don't really change these too much. And then again, you can change the margins here, which this is going to be the margins around this text section right here. So you can see when I click large, it puts more space between the text and the header and the button. So this is a good starting place for very simple emails. Like if you were just going to kind of write a letter to your list, then this is a great kind of template starting point for those kind of emails. If you want to create something that's a little more newsletter-like, then you can continue on and add more sections. But if you do want to break your email up into different sections, you can add another section underneath this by clicking the blue plus button here. You can see this is going to add another kind of white box section, and this one you can set up to have completely different settings than the main section. So for this one, for example, if you wanted to come back, make sure you clicked in this box and then click section. You can come over here and like change the background color to make it look different, and it's not affecting this top box at all. You can come in here and add a layout, which again, you can also add to this top section. It just depends on how you want to, how and where you want to add content to your email. So for this one, you can add a layout and choose one of these to throw in there. Let's do this one. I use this one a lot. And then you can edit this one as well to change the margins, change the spacing, and that sort of thing to make it look the way that you want. The thing about these layouts though is sometimes you have to play around with the columns or play around with the spacing a little bit. I like to add padding here so it's not right up against the box, but sometimes when you click in it, it's going to take you to, like when I just clicked in this box here, it took me to the text section to edit this text. So you just need to back up a little to the column, to this column here, and this is where you can change the spacing. So it was set to none and the text was right up against the edge. I set it to the middle, I set it to normal so that it just put a little space around it. And then if you want to have a border, it would put a border around this column here. So when you're working with the elements, you've got to kind of play around with what you need to change, what you want to change. And remember that up here at the top, the element on the farthest on the element furthest on the right is going to be the smallest element inside of here, inside of your element or inside of your section. So if you are wanting to change, the background color of this column here, you're going to want to go to column. So text would be the text box, and then column will be the whole square here. And if you change the background color to that, for example, it's going to change that here. And then this would be the side for the image. But what I wanted to point out there was just that you can add another section here that has completely different settings and features than the first one that you set up there. You can also add these in to the email once you've started creating an email. So what I would do here as far as the template goes is just have the very basic thing, what you're going to have in every single email that you use that template for. And then you can, if you need to add something this week or change it up next week, you can do that once you've started writing your email. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and just delete this button, and I might leave the heading. Actually, I'll just delete everything. We'll just do like an empty box here. The other thing that you want to make sure that you have right inside of your email template is your footer. Have that set up however you like. I'm going to start by removing the ConvertKit badge. Then we're going to change this out. So you need to keep your address and your unsubscribe link. They are required, and the email will not even send if you try to take them out. The preferences link is recommended but not required. This one just lets people update their email addresses. And if you set up the profile preferences option, then they can also change that by clicking preferences too, meaning opting in and out of specific topics or email lists that you may have in your account. But what I like to do down here is have a custom footer. So I have a message, and I'll just actually pop out and show you what my template that I actually use looks like for regular emails. This is actually the one that I use, which is an HTML template. It's very old. Yeah, this is the one that I use when I send out new YouTube videos every week. So I just kind of have like the very basic setup. So all of this goes into an email when I start a new email, and then I just kind of change it from there. So what I know I always want is a header, and then I just change the text. And then this is like the first little section that I write that's kind of like what's the video about and why you need it. And then this is where I put the video link from YouTube so that the video actually populates right here. And then I also just link to a button. And then this section, I just kind of leave it in here so that I have it to edit if I want, but I also can just remove it if I don't have anything else to add. And then I usually have a little section down here, and this one I've been kind of playing with whether or not I'm going to leave this in here, but for now I have it in there with just the options to work with me, and that way they show up at the end of every email. But what I came in here to show you is my footer. That's what I wanted you to see here. So here I just have a nice little short little message that just reminds people how they got on my email list, because we're all on 100 email lists, right? And sometimes you're reading something and you're like, I never signed up for this. So I just wanted to have a little place to kind of remind people like how they may have found me and what I do, and that is here. And then I also have, so you can customize this obviously and put whatever you'd like there. I also, in the HTML template that I use, so let's just look at that one real quick. It's a little bit harder to read because it is code, but in this one, here, I'll just preview it. I have also, so this is the same as in the other one, and then I also have this bit here where I've added just the ways to work with me. So if anybody's interested in that at all, and maybe I didn't put a direct CTA in the email for whatever reason, it was just a value email, then down here there is an option still for them to look at different ways that we could work together if they're interested in that at that point. So there are a bunch of different things that you can put in your emails to customize them, and putting them into email templates makes it a lot easier. So let's just take a look really quick at the email template that we just worked on. So I'm just going to click new broadcast. This automatically brings in the HTML template that we just looked at. That's again an old one that I've had for a really long time that I like, so it's the one that I keep as my default template, but I have definitely started using the other ones more and like them a lot as well. So we were using this test template, so I'm just going to apply it and see. Here's the warning that I was talking about where it says ask if you want to replace the content in your email. So we're going to hit replace content. So if I had anything written in here and then decided to change this template, it would move the content. So make sure that you either copy and paste and save it somewhere else, or that you choose this before starting. So now you can see that it added the logo and it added the white box that we were working with, and then that's it. This left the footer the way that we had it. Now, the nice thing about these newer templates with ConvertKit is that you can make changes inside the email. With the old template that I still use on my account, you cannot change anything about it inside the email itself when you're working on it. So the footer and all of that has to be changed in the template. But here, if you did want to add a blurb like that to your email, you can add that here without having to go into the template and change it. The thing to remember though would be that it's not in the template and that you would need to add it again or to the template if you choose to send out another email and want to have that on there. So now we have this email and it's ready to go. And now if you do add a header, it's going to take on the heading settings that we did before. So if you'll remember, we made the H2 blue. So now that we've changed that to H2, it's now blue. And then the regular text looks like how the regular text looks. Now, again, you can, the biggest thing about the email template is to set up your basic email settings. That's primarily what you need. Once you get into your email, your actual email, you can add more things here. So you can add that second block here, and you can add the layouts here as well. So if you decide that you want to add a layout, you can do that inside the email. That does not need to be added into the template. What I would recommend is creating a template that's going to have the overall look of the email that you want and leaving it as empty as possible. And then that way you have the option to change and add what you'd like to add as you write your emails every week. Now if we preview this, here's basically what it's going to look like. It's not going to be this wide, obviously, in an email, but in an inbox. But this is generally what it's going to look like with the white on the gray and then the little unsubscribe at the bottom. And I wanted to share with you really quickly this newsletter template that I created. This is for my monthly newsletter, and I've also created a version of it that you can access through my new digital product called ConvertKit in a Box. ConvertKit in a Box also includes 2 other email templates, but let's take a look at this one. This one is the newsletter template, and this is the same template that I use to send out my monthly newsletter, the Tech Stack. So I've designed this one to have the different sections in here for you and to make it really easy to update with your own content. So if you would like access to this, just check out ConvertKit in a Box. I will have a link below in the description. You'll get access to the 3 email templates plus 3 automation templates, and there will also be a checklist if you are new to ConvertKit and are just moving over, that makes sure that you get all of the content that you need out of your current email providers, so that you have a very smooth transition over to ConvertKit. So if you're interested in that, check it out below. Now that you have your gorgeous new email template, be sure to check out this video next, where I walk you through exactly how to set up an automation in ConvertKit so that you can warm up those new subscribers automatically.